have you done for me lately? It's Coons. What have y'all done for us lately? And if there's no answer, the only thing we owe them.
In the trenches, in the trenches, in the trenches. Okay, Mutah, what's going on, bro?
Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. How you feeling?
Hey, man, you know how it goes, man. Same old thing, man. Trying to grind, bro. Great seeing you. For the people in my audience on this channel, remember, like, share, subscribe. Me and this brother go way back. This brother is a children's book author, as well as an activist. It's funny when you look back at 7-8 years ago, how life chooses a path for you. You may not want to choose it or decide to do it, but I know you as basically working with the city, and then an accident happened, and then you started seeing things for what they really was. And I know you've been real loud, for lack of better words, with what's going on in the city of Newark, New Jersey. So tell us about your activism first and foremost, Mutah, so people know exactly what you do.
All right. I am not an activist. For those listening on, I am not an activist. I consider myself to be a social reformer. So this actually started when we was in our situation, being able to assess various communities and crowds and things, seeing things before they happen. We used to troubleshoot people. We used to troubleshoot people off the tip. Yeah, we know what's going to happen. And so what ends up happening is, man, when I came and I start wanting to do right, I came through a naive set of glasses. And because I had certain skill sets and I was doing certain things, and I just figured, all right, well, if people applied themselves a little bit harder, they could do it, right? But then when roadblocks start hitting me, that just was somebody else's personality that didn't like me because and they was in position. Now we talking about being bullied, and when you get bullied with people with political strings, unless you kowtow or cop out, there's no end to that tyranny. So what I see is a lot of people at certain workplaces, they go home daily stressed, possibly taking that out on their wives or their kids or whatever, because they don't get any get back because it's their boss that's oppressing them. So I start looking at the math, like looking at the numbers as far as the contracts. That's what I start doing first, and I start getting flack for looking at the contracts and saying why is this question? I'm always gonna read some shit and question some shit. For those that's looking on, part of my language, but I like to call it good troublemaking. The brother's been around me for a while. We do good troublemaking, which means that if something isn't right, if something is incorrect, We want to correct it, even if popular thought says it is. Even if everybody around you saying, this is red. If you look at it and you can see it's green, it is your responsibility to let people know it's green. For the cure may be in the green, or the poison may be in the green, and by you not telling them which is which, you have doomed them to whichever fate. So, in that circumstance, it's like, all right, what do I do now that I'm out here and I know this shit? Now I know this stuff is messed up, and it seems like the more I was trying to like engage in just doing people work, the more things would just land on my, like, things would just hit me for no reason. Like, why y'all bothering me, man? And so this housing crisis has been going on for a long time. So I'm not the first person to speak about it. However, the organizations in Newark are so splintered that it's hard to get anybody to collaborate on let's say simple stuff as a date. When are we going to do something? Or whose name is going to go on the flyer? So if you look at the flyers that's here, you don't see nobody name on it, because this ain't an ego driven thing. So what we want to do is, what I said for this time is, listen, I'm not gonna go after your quote unquote organizers, your essential organizers that everybody know in the city, because you got to get people permission to do this. I'm gonna go talk to the actual crowd that's experiencing these adversities. And so what I find myself is that in Penn Station, on Freeland Heights Avenue, on the back of Astor Street, these crevices where you find people living, and you like, yo, how is this even possible? Or going to, them people that are currently couch surfing that may not be homeless, but it's definitely a
living out of a bag.
Yeah. And it may not be their fault. They may be been working at that warehouse job for 3 years, and it $18, $19 an hour. When we talk about $1,500 a month rent. So just understanding where we are, it's like, all right, if nobody's not going to stand up and say nothing right now, I have a responsibility to.
So let me ask you, Mutah. I know. We had always conversated about a bunch of different things. Coming from one element, and then as you say, we both and some brothers that we know, when you're trying to do things a different way, and now you're seeing all this opposition, and you're not used to this much opposition. If you were more hands-on, so to say, now you're trying to advocate for people, try to get people resources, and it's like, damn, why y'all opposing, quote unquote, something that's good? Don't worry about the light, bro.
Huh?
Don't worry about the light. Just go in.
I bet. My bad. So listen, that was the shock. So you remember when I was trying to invite you in the Alkaline Express?
Yeah.
So what happens is, at that time I'm like, yo, I'm going to the city. Like, yo, we got space to do a bunch of different programs here. Like, I've been doing programs here, and I got a good success rate. And what I realized at that point was, I realized I got a feeling of it when I was promoting the book and I was trying to get into certain circles, that politics and Newark smothers everything. So when we talk about, like, if you aspire to be anything in Newark, you got to go through that political wrangle, and that shouldn't be the case. My politicians shouldn't be my biggest rock stars. I want my politicians.
How and if you're not from the from Newark or what we consider a big or small urban city,
Mm-hmm.
it's very tribal. Everybody know everybody. Everybody know. We knew who Sharp James was. You know his family. So the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with Roz. You know who Mary Rock is. Everybody know his family. So
Mm-hmm.
how is that when you know the person's family and you may not be getting resistance from them per se, but it's like y'all know what's going on in the streets. Y'all know better than anybody. These are y'all people, and it's a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that? Because I know you've been real vocal at City Hall, letting them know, like, look, this is what's going on in your particular area of the town.
Mm-hmm. So it's similar. So it's a reason why I call for this Occupy North, and that's because there is no resources. And when I had these conversations with these people, um, they people always talk about a greater good and a greater distance, and I don't see that greater good and the greater distance at the rate we're going now. So this is what forces me to behave the way I behave. So if I was saying like, yeah, well, we made headway this generation. We got a few more first black this and a few first black that, and we got an entire government that's all black in Newark. Whoopee. You know, but then I look at the suffering on the bottom, and it's a whole bunch of people who aren't celebrating. And these are my people. So I want people to understand that who are the people that are this 70% of Black America that are currently suffering. This is primarily your 18 through 31-year-old men, your women that have kids whose baby fathers may be in jail, may be whatever the case may be, right? So it is a lot. We're talking about 70% of us fall below that poverty line. And with that number, that's not an accident. That's not an individual choice. You, even though you probably made some bad choices in your life, if you fall in that 70% margin of poverty, that is not a choice. That's a math problem. So, a lot of times people try to talk clean or talk politics beyond the math problem. I see numbers. I don't really care how fantastic the story sounds, how emotionally charged the story makes me feel. What does the math tell me?
And it's hard trying to tell somebody that when they look at themselves and them or their family may individually be doing well, but they don't understand that their neighbor basically is robbing Peter to pay Paul just to survive.
So just a point of transparency for the audience and everybody that's looking on, right? Um, the 15th of December, I have to be out of where I'm at. Now, I'm not doing bad, right? Financially, right? Well, that's relative, but and of course that I have enough. My family has enough to pay for rent for the next year, which a lot of families don't find themselves in that position. Even with that type of financial stance, I still can't find the apartment because one, right? My wife is the prime is the only income in the house, which brings us at a $35,000 household rent, which is the area median. 35,000 for a four-family household is the area median, which is poverty, right? Now, even if we have money to get stuff, right, what happens is her earnings don't allow her to fill out that application because they want you to make 3 times the amount. Hence, we talk about a housing crisis because the median area income is $35,000 per household.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we talking about rent is at $1,300 for a 1 bedroom, $1,700 for a 2 bedroom. These households, it's impossible for them households to survive right now. So when I say math problem, I like to break it down into just like simple numbers so that people could understand like we are at the negative at this point.
And when you try to explain that to people directly, like, look, your situation, you may feel good about whatever you got going on today, but literally you're hurting. And a lot of times social media puts us in this place where we think that we're okay financially with a job, but the reality is, you you surviving just to live, just to lay your head. I know. Go ahead, bro.
What I find people tend to be in a dream state, more or less. People are either in a dream state where they feel as though they're better off than what they are, or they're in a state where as though they like it's nothing I could do about it. So, me coming up to them, telling them something that sounds like freedom. It's like, get out of here with that old witch tale. And they'll blame themselves for their condition. So you know what? You don't remember I made that bad decision before? Because if I wouldn't have been drinking that day, then I would have got a raise because the boss seen me and I just had that stain, so I didn't get the raise. But soon if I keep doing this, I'm gonna get a raise. But I'm gonna save up money on the weekends and I'm gonna get 2 side hustles. And what I be realistically telling people is like, where you gonna find the time to do all this? Every time I talk to you, you're tired from your 40-hour week, right? So where are you going to get time to promote and market all of these ingenious ideas that you're saying? And then you come with another ingenious idea every week. When are you going to stop, settle in, and start producing something from that idea? So it's a lot to unpack, yo. It's a lot.
Hey, listen. I know we talking about housing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know we definitely gonna stay on that because that's I know the reason why you're having Occupy City Hall on Friday.
Yes.
And I want you to explain to everybody what you intend to do and how you want people to come out, support, and let their voices be heard. But explain to everybody what happened recently where you had to try to get people to understand the gravity of losing that bus line that was over there, Freeland-Heisen Avenue, the 24 service, the one bus line, the coach bus line,
mm-hmm.
the old one bus line when we was kids.
Got you. So, all right. For one, I figured that New Jersey Transit was going to pick up those lines when the rumors was going out that coach was going to However, what I wanted, what my intention was to do was to spark some type of spark within us to say, listen, let's do an alternative private company. What this would have did was it would have created group economics in our community, and it would have provided some type of economic footing. So we would have been a part of the infrastructure that is in Newark. Once you do something like that, once you solidify a bus line or a bus route, you are a part of that city's infrastructure. So what I wanted was some people that probably was doing well say, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And then it trigger, us to do our own bus line. However, what ended up happening is we did some protesting and New Jersey Transit said, you know what, we're going to pick up that line. So some people seen it as a win. I got some calls and some people like, yo, that y'all did good work. The meanwhile, you never see me come back out and say nothing else about it.
I mean, I don't even know if New Jersey Transit, they may even try to subcontract them lines out because those
No,
some.
it's that's a money line, so they ain't gonna do that. They took it. It's too late. They done bought new shiny buses for that route and everything. We got new advertisements already on those buses already. I mean, in all honesty, with New Jersey Transit, they got a schedule. Coach didn't even have no schedule, so they're moving a lot more efficiently.
Oh, so they got a schedule and everything.
Yeah,
What they did they number the buses?
yeah, they still a 31 to 24, still the same numbers that it was. You know,
We grew up on them buses, man. It's funny when you're young, you get taught how to use mass transit, and you got to know them bus lines to get from one side of town to the other side of town, and up the hill, down the hill, across town. So let us know about what is all you have planned on. What's occupying Newark, which is going to take place at City Hall Friday at 12 a.m.
All right, so for everybody who does, let me let y'all see. All right, so everybody looking on, right? Occupy Newark. This is a movement for the housing crisis that's going on. What we're doing is we having a Woodstock situation. So y'all remember the hippies had Woodstock? All right, so y'all remember the hippies had Woodstock. Is the reason why they cracked down on Woodstock. Because when you got a bunch of people that's willing to sit there, smoke together, and relax and talk about the issues of the world, you got a better chance of things getting done. I know a lot of people talk about, the cannabis and stuff like that. However, I've had more meaningful dialogue over a cannabis stick than I have at a board meeting. I've taken away more. So with that being said, there's going to be free cannabis sticks for everybody that comes through. Listen, all right, so Q knows that I'm a very truthful person. So I don't say this lightly. Come through. We got enough cannabis for everybody. This is the hippies. This is the new Woodstock right now. So we smoking and we doing this for the housing crisis, because I don't want everybody to be all on edge, because we starting this at 12 a.m. So Thursday night, 12 a.m., which is technically Friday. That's when it starts. So this is not a kid event. I want everybody to be clear. Oh, why would you bring smoke? Because this isn't a kid event. This is a grown people event. This is grown people decisions that need to be made. This is grown people conversations that need to be had, right? And we want to make sure that tempers don't get flared and all that. So I'd rather people enjoy a good puff and relax over this dialogue, as opposed to, getting drunk, hyped up, and violent.
Well, the thing, Sir Charles, I don't know where you live at, Sir Charles, but I'll read your statement to Mutah, and Mutah could address it according to where he lives at. It's a housing. So the brother said it's a housing crisis because everybody not wanting to keep their base on income housing and trying to compete in the world of white supremacy.
Brother, it's a housing crisis because we were never given a footstep. So when you place a people and you say that
he's in Richmond, Virginia.
It wouldn't matter where yet. Nobody received reparations nowhere. So I mean, although there may be families that are doing well, we're talking about holistically, Black families don't do well, and that's just the numbers. So as far as I guess he was saying like we mismanaging our resources.
No, he didn't say that. He just basically, you got to explain to him, Mutah, how you've seen the cost of living went up in Newark, retarded in the last 5 years.
All right, so we're gonna give. All right, so now in 2018, my wife and I were looking for a house. At that time, the house, you could get a one family for about 70,000, 90,000, right? For under 100,000 in Newark. And for a multi-family, 2-family, 3-family, you could get for $150,000, $200,000. These properties now are a 1-family, $300,000, a 2-family, $500,000 and up. 3 families, we looking upwards of 700,000. Now, and how this look like to the renter. So when we talk about the housing crisis, it affects homeowners, but the renter is the person that's getting affected the most here, right? These are your evictions. So what happens is a 1-bedroom in 2019. This is 2019, prior to the pandemic. A 1-bedroom is $700 in Newark, in most of the surrounding areas. Fast forward now, a 1-bedroom is $1,300. Our incomes haven't went up any in this time period. Nobody's income went up in this time period. So just imagine paying double the prices damn near. And your income, you were struggling before.
And just to give a little bit of context for anybody that don't know, and Mutah really, he did not. He's not someone that goes to work and just hears this type of information. He's involved in the community in Newark, New Jersey. They have a men's meeting every other Thursday. Mutah goes to all the meetings where basically the city was trying to sell property for first-time home buyers. And what happened is corporations started buying the houses up. Big corporations started buying like 10 houses at a time. They would make these bids on all this property, and they would buy the houses, taking it out of the hands of the woman or the guy or the family that wanted to buy a home for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So much so where the city had to step in and say, hold up, what are y'all doing? Because so many corporations was doing this.
This after the Ruckers-Klein report. After the Ruckers-Klein report that came out that said that private LLCs and private developers own 70% of the West Ward and South Wards, which is primarily the Black wards.
That was the Ruckers. The Ruckers report said that 70% of what was owned by LLCs and big corporations.
Yeah.
Whew. Wow.
So we talk about us being a ticket. So we just looked at as rent. We only own in Newark at 10% rate. So
and for those that don't know, one of the things like Newark, like any other major city in America, one of the things that I do is I work in logistics, I guess I would say. In those areas that Mutah just explained, the South Ward and West Ward, they have these interstates. So they're easy to access and they're close to the colleges. We got to understand that Newark is 14 minutes away from New York City. So it's basically would be the suburb of New York City. So what's happening is that they're basically pricing the people that grew up, invested in Newark, and they're pushing them out for the workers from New York.
So let me give people a different perspective, because we looking at it as all bad. Everybody did this to us. So I'll give people a different perspective that's a little bit more light for it, right? What happened is, because we weren't given reparations, our cities, even though they have all the resources, so Newark has a major airport, has a major seaport, right? Has all the resources that has a major train port, has all the resources that any functional rich city should have, which Newark is not a poor city. However, when we're talking about the class divide, because we've always been, Black people always been the workers, or whatever the case may be. So when anything hit, say like the drug epidemic, it hit us the worst. AIDS, it hit us the worst. The war on drugs, it hit us the worst, right? So those consequences from those events are played out over generations. So now what you have is a city that should have been worth a lot more than it was, undervalued because the population was still broken, right? Because the North was about 53% black. So if the bulk percentage of your people is poor, then it's hard for a city to advance because you don't have any in-house developers. You don't have any in-house people that had the finances to build. So now that's all. So now when they start inviting these new developers in, they have to invite in. If they're inviting in, it's
Brother
no way.
Donald said, have public housing subsidies kept pace with the rent increases?
Have public housing subsidies kept? All right. So from what I could tell, the people that are in housing or that receive subsidies, they aren't feeling the crunch as much as people who are just hard workers. Not to say that they aren't hard workers. I'm saying that rent subsidies do help. So if we could get more rent subsidies out in a bulk number, it would help more families out. I think that when it comes to rent subsidies, black men particularly are left out of this almost completely. If we owe child support, we aren't eligible for most of these programs.
Just the trick bag, huh?
Yeah, the condition they just stopped putting criminal records on it, right? So that happened recently. So we talking about we playing out consequences of policies that were geared to hold us here. Now, some people call it white. What's the word I'm looking for?
White supremacy.
Some people call it white supremacy. I like to use more colorful words that are less divisive, such as systematic failure, right? So we've been attacked by the system. The system has failed us repeatedly.
So let me ask you. I know you're doing a lot for the kids, and I I know they may not realize it. The kids may not realize it, but I know you take a lot of honor. You grew up in Bradley Court. You're from Bradley Court, and you literally are back where your, as we would say, stomping grounds is at. And you doing your thing at the center there. Explain everything you're doing with the kids and with the computers and stuff.
All right, so pandemic happened. They had been prior to the pandemic. There was a community center in Riley Court, and that's where I used to come and donate my time to. So whenever I wanted to volunteer my time, there was a place I could donate my time to, do mentoring and all that. Right. Pandemic happened, and they shut down. They shut down their community center, and they gated up all the playgrounds and everything. So now we're looking at an occupied people. So that's my place where I come to get my salad. So I come and chill, relax. Some people don't like the neighborhood, but I do. So when I'm seeing this, I'm like, yo, when you do this to a community, you setting them up, you conditioning them for a certain lifestyle, right? So I start doing different programming with the kids that didn't have anything to do, all right? So once I realized that their old community room had become a manager's office, so there was no community room there at all, I said, hold up. We did the paperwork. Established the board, and became a legit nonprofit. So we're a legit 501c3. For those who don't understand what that means if you want to donate to us, if you're one of those people who are unfortunate and have to pay Uncle Sam back at the end of the year, what you could do is say, I don't want to pay Uncle Sam back. I'm going to donate to this worthy cause, and that's going to be just as good. So you wouldn't be paying Uncle Sam. You would be donating that money that you would normally pay Uncle Sam. You would be donated to a worthy cause, which is a nonprofit, right? So we went door to door and asked the residents, do they want programming there? 98% overwhelmingly said, yeah, we want your programming. So we procured one of the rooms, cleaned it out, and turned that into the new community center. We did it. We signed up for a grant through Prudential. Prudential had a grant. We signed up for a bunch of grants, but you don't win them all. So, but Prudential gave us a couple $1,000, and that was specific. We did the computer lab. So for those that's listening on, when I write up for grants, I really don't write up for salary. I write up for equipment, because my thing is, if we got the equipment, we can produce. I've seen a lot of people get hired that weren't qualified for positions. So at here, we trying to get people to donate their time and donate their skills. So if you got a useful skill that you would like to donate, please, we definitely looking for people with skills and abilities. If you're an electrician, if you're a carpenter, if you're a mechanic, come on, let's go. We could work you into our program.
That's right. That's right. Well, look, bro, anything you want to leave us with, man?
Listen, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. All right. There's a hadith. I might be chopping it up though, right? It says that if you see it wrong, you must change it with your hands, if you can. If you're not able to change it with your hands, you must change it with your tongue. If because some inherent danger will happen to you, you cannot change it with your tongue, or you cannot speak, you don't have a voice, you cannot change it with your tongue, you must hate it in your heart. So when I go about my actions on a daily basis, it's because either I'm going to try to change it with my hands. If I can't do that, I'm going to change it with my mouth. If I can't do that, I'm going to hate it in my heart. Everybody that's listening on, we occupying Newark. This is the new Woodstock. City Hall steps, 12 a.m. 12 a.m. December 1st. City Hall steps. Everybody that come on, I got drinks for everybody. We're going to light up some spliffs. Those that don't smoke, listen, you go over to the other area where it ain't going to be cloudy. But this is for the housing crisis. Like, this is I know I'm talking in light, talking about joints and all this, but this is a serious matter. And whatever we're going to unify behind, we must unify. My name is Mutah El-Amin. You can reach me on Instagram at verbal151. That is VERBLE151. Once again, that is VERBLE151. I'm also a children's book author. So besides the activism and stuff like that, we do amazing work with the kids, right? We do youth summer camps. We do after school programming daily. And we do entrepreneurial programs where we show kids how to start setting up their business, how to engage with the public. So you can reach me at munsterNJ.org. That is munsternj.org. That's munsternj.org. So however you want to reach me through there, you could donate through there. You could contact and email through there. You can read up on our mission statement through there. You know, right now we're just trying to serve the people and do the right thing.
Thanks a lot, bro.
Peace and blessings, Skill.